So now we can start, I think. Where should I start? What's this video actually about? It's me traveling to Iceland alone, hiking from Landmannalaugur through Icelandic Highlands to the south, so to the village of Skogar, and plus some other little hikes in Iceland. But maybe let's just start. Or the video will probably not entirely match my voice overlay, but it doesn't matter. This trip was back in 2024 in September. I think it's the best. I think it's the best time to travel to Iceland. A little bit less tourists than during the high season. The weather is more or less enjoyable, with some sunny days but also some rainy days, and also quite high probability of seeing the northern lights. So I woke up, had breakfast and started packing for Iceland. The backpack turned out to be quite heavy, although I was taking only the essentials, trust me. I took the bus and got to the train station, and time passed slowly on the train. I kept thinking about meeting Marie. When I arrived in Vienna, she was already waiting for me. We immediately started talking about my trip and my backpack. Then we got us some coffee and went to the nearest park to chat about this and that, but just as friends. Did I enjoy talking to her? I guess so, but only because I once loved her. I don't know, she already felt like a stranger to me. She also mentioned that she was going to Prague this day to see her friend Andrei and to celebrate his birthday. That actually really made me sad. Maybe I was jealous, or it's just the sadness of breakup, and understanding that this is it. No more adventures together. It is interesting how our lives have changed since we broke up, and judging by everything, I think hers changed for the better, and mine, I don't know. It's hard to get used to new people, to loneliness. I'm living through all these moments of my life alone, without someone I love, and that actually really makes me depressive. So it was time to say goodbye. She went to the train to Prague, and I went to the plane to Iceland. So now we are finally taking off, but the seat next to me is empty. And in this moment, tremendous loneliness came over me. Everybody in the world is doing something without me. There'll be no more honey and cutie pie, no more sweet adventures, no moments spent together. Why the heck am I even going to Iceland? I just wanted and dreamed of showing the person I loved the northern lights and my favorite places there, because I went to Iceland back in 2016, and now none of it matters anymore. And basically for an hour or two I was just crying. I felt unbearably lonely and lost. Well, now at the airport I picked up my backpack. Gosh, it was so freaking heavy. I bought something to drink and found a bench to get some sleep because I arrived like at 11 p.m. But I couldn't sleep. The thought that the northern lights would appear tonight made me sleepless. Naturally, I set off for a 2-hour hike in the middle of the night under the stars and northern lights. Finally found a nice spot to set a camp near a little lighthouse, and the next day I hitchhiked to Lanmalagur and spent another night near the lake, and on the next day finally started my hike through the highlands. In the morning it was super windy and cold, but the sunrise by the lighthouse made me happy. I packed my things and set off on my way. Hitchhiking to the highlands took quite some time. At some point I waited so long that I just decided to start walking. I even began planning a new route, which would have added about 3 more days to my trip, but just as I was losing my hope, a car finally stopped. And to my surprise, they were heading exactly to the position where I wanted to start my hiking tour. The ride was pleasant, and they dropped me by the lake called Killingavatten. I hope I pronounced it correctly, but probably not. And the sun was already getting low, so I found quite a spot to set up the camp for the night. The next morning was freezingly cold, and I didn't want to leave my sleeping bag, so I packed my things and started the hike. The sun was rising, bringing warmth and incredible beauty to the landscape. I was completely alone. Soon I reached the actual starting point of the hiking trail, a trail through volcanic canyons and valleys. Also encountered some locals, the Icelandic sheep. And when I saw all the beauty of Icelandic Highlands, the valleys and the rivers, I almost cried from happiness. Every hardship to this point was worth it. And I suddenly felt happiness. At some point the trail ended at the river, and according to my paper map, another trail should be on the other side. So I changed my shoes and walked through the river. The cold was insane because it's like freshly melted water from a nearby glacier. I don't know what the temperature, probably around 5 to 6 degrees. But as soon as I got to the other side, I quickly grabbed my towel and switched back to my regular shoes. Well, from the other side of the river, So from the other side of the river, I followed the path marked on my digital map, but at some point it just simply vanished. And that was it. No more marked trail. From here on, I had to find my way on my own. As the sun began to set, I went down to the river, tried to follow it, but at some point had no choice as to cross it. And I crossed it 3 times just for the video. That was super stupid, but what else can I say? Kind of, starting blogging and so on. And after walking a little further, I decided to set up the camp. And in the evening, I climbed the nearby hills to scout the area a little bit. And the terrain up there was quite flat, so I could figure out my so I could figure out the best way for the next day and to navigate the landscape. Yeah.
Late one night I pulled up to the side of the road. In my dreams I wander off in the woods. Walked up this lonesome hillside where a quarry had been. Past an old graveyard and an old stone kiln. I saw a rustic cottage. An old man lived there. High upon this mountain, no one else around. Somehow we got to talking. I sat with him and drank. Told each other stories. I sung the song I'd learned. Whiskey, oh, whiskey has made a wretch of me. But oh, the harm that ever I have done, I've done it out of fear. Whiskey, oh, whiskey. Then he told the story, how the devil had gone. Retired to the country, where no one was around. It seemed that the evil of men had surpassed any expectations the devil ever had. The bottle, it was empty. It wasn't worth a damn.